let it be the will of God, whatever he wants for me. But I prayed and prayed and prayed that it would. So with that information, what I'm having is welcome back to my channel. It's ItzMariaVicz and I welcome you to another session of the pregnancy and motherhood official playlist. Specifically speaking, for this video I will be going over my second trimester for this pregnancy. As you guys know, I did film this for my pregnancy for my first daughter, and I won't be publishing these until after I give birth or whenever that timeline does happen to arise. And so as usual, I like to give a disclaimer, I suppose, for these videos. I'm not looking for necessarily advice upon me posting these videos. If I have already given birth, then some things with pregnancy and birth don't have to do with my reality anymore. By the time that you guys see this, I will be already like postpartum, and so you can definitely feel free to leave comments, suggestions, recommendations, and all those things down below for other viewers and readers of the comments. But for myself specifically, especially if they are more of a negative tone, feel free to just keep this for yourself, as I would have already given birth. I am filming these ahead of time and then editing and hopefully posting when I remember to postpartum, because obviously, as you guys saw in my previous video too, if you guys are staying up to date with those, I am having twins and I already have a toddler. By the time that you guys see this, not sure what the timeline will be. However, by the time that the twins come out, I'm gonna officially, depending on the timeline, like I said, have 3 under 3, but whether it's a week, 1 month, etc. And I'll explain as to why a month would even be something to consider. But anyways, just wanted to let you guys know that. I hope that you guys are looking forward to the video. And if you guys did not know that I did do these kind of videos, I started this series, I believe it was in 2023, because obviously that was when my child was first born. And I'm a little bit more prepared this time, just because I not only have the memory, muscle memory I suppose, of doing those videos, but also I do think that it's best for me to film these ahead of time, because if I recall correctly, all the videos that I had done for my first pregnancy, even like the first trimester one, I think I did close to the end of second trimester. And so I'm kind of doing this in order so things are more fresh in my memory, and so it kind of works out better for everything. And so yeah, just want to let you guys know that. If you guys are looking forward to the video, please subscribe to the channel. It'll not only make me happy, but also it'll help the channel grow. If you guys are not aware, I do have a secondary channel, which I do post more frequently on there. This is more of my personal life, vlogging, motherhood, and those kind of random things about me channel. However, if you want something a little bit more concrete in the topics, I do have a financial channel, not as a financial advisor, but just as somebody who cash stuffs and likes to share tidbits of knowledge here and there, unofficially, unprofessionally, unlicensed. And so if you guys are so inclined to, you know, stay tuned to me in multiple places, here it is right there. I will announce at some point. By the time you guys see this, I probably would have already announced it over there, but I will be taking a break for obvious reasons for both my channel, just to kind of focus on mom life, especially with 3 under 3. And so yeah, don't be so excited to see this because it is filmed ahead of time, but I'm not sure when the next video will come. All that to say that, and besides that, let's get on to the video. All right, so as typical, I do want to disclose some of the information that I've gone over the past trimester or so. We'll start off with filming timeline. I am filming this on March 23rd of 2026, and today I'm actually starting my 26 weeks. So officially speaking, I believe that's technically, I'm already technically in 3rd trimester, because if we go by trimester, I believe each trimester is about 12 weeks. 12 plus 12 would have been 24, so my second trimester would have ended in the 24 weeks, so about 2 weeks ago. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys that time frame. And supposedly, I say supposedly, and you guys will get to know as to why. It's kind of confusing, but I'm technically due July 1st to July 3rd, so for sure the first week of July. However, as you guys saw in my other video, and I disclosed that over there, I am having twins, and apparently twins are complicated. Yay me. And so they may come out early just because of, statistically speaking, twins do obviously take up more room. The mom might be uncomfortable, but also the twins themselves, as they get bigger and closer to the end of the 3rd trimester, they may be a little rattlesome, I suppose, if you want to say that, inside the belly. And so just to avoid major complications, plus also depending on how the way that they're growing, the way that their head is oriented, whether head down or head up, which would be breech, depending on that, your OB or the midwife or whatever may say that it's best to kick them out early, which is another thing that I'll get into a little bit later for this specific video. But besides that, we typically go over the symptoms, cravings, and aversions that I've had, any particular other notes that I may have in mind, which for this video we will be talking about certain comments and remarks from my OB, and also just other little things here and there, including the gender of the babies. So let's get on to it. And don't mind me looking over here, I got my notes over here so I don't forget anything, and I'm actually gonna move it over here, therefore I have my water bottle available because today's gonna be a yappy one. So let's hydrate and get onto it. So to get the quick stuff out of the way, so symptom wise, it's so funny how like I guess I'm just like a very normal gal in terms of like I don't feel anything in particular special about my pregnancies. Even for my first pregnancy, which was with my daughter in 2023, I didn't have any particular symptoms or whatnot. I had 1 or 2 episodes of acid reflux, and that was because I happened to eat spicy food, and then 1 little thing of nausea because I think I had something that wasn't cooked properly. It specifically was seafood, and so that's that. But for this pregnancy, it's funny how it's basically the same. I don't feel any particular symptom whatsoever. Cravings and aversions we'll get to afterwards, even though that's not a big extended list anyways. But in terms of symptoms, the only things that I've experienced different this time around than with my first pregnancy is that I've had 2 nausea episodes, which were done once midway through the 2nd trimester was already passed. So around, I would guess, week 18, I would say. That's when my nausea kind of stopped. I was I was prescribed a anti-nausea medication from my doctor, and so she said it was a just in case thing. Basically, I'm supposed to take it twice in the night when I'm going to bed, and then once in the morning and once in the afternoon, depending on how aggressive my symptoms were for nausea. I in particular only experienced it twice, and it's funny how I would still, because I'm just the kind of person that likes to know things, I would like to know what exactly was the trigger for those episodes, because it wasn't consistent. It's not like, for example, both times I smelled raw cheese and so that made me gag. The first time was that with the changing of seasons, we know that some bugs like to come out and all those things. So because of the change in weather that we were having at the time, there was a centipede that came out of the kitchen, like underneath the oven or whatever it was, or wherever it came from. But by the time I saw it, it was elsewhere in the house. I, with my flip-flop, and as soon as I picked it up, and this has never happened to me, so I thought it was just the trigger of something like gross to the body. And as you guys know, and I've explained this in the first time that I talked about the series, evolutionarily speaking, women who are pregnant do happen to have more aversions, cravings, and whatever, because it all has to do with the biological well-being of the baby and the fetus, or the fetuses. And so, for example, something that's nasty, for example, the smell of garbage, may not bother you when you are not pregnant, but when you're pregnant, that symbolizes toxins, gross bacteria, or whatever other things that could make you sick, and therefore the baby. And that's why evolutionarily speaking, we have aversions. Same thing with cravings. We may crave certain things because biologically speaking, something that the body is missing may come out as a craving. For example, I don't know, you're missing vitamin C, so that's why you may be craving some citruses. But anyways, yeah, I figured that because I smashed, squished the centipede or whatever, that might have been a trigger. But then the next time that I had a triggering nausea moment was when I hadn't even eaten all that much and I just got nausea. And so I was just like, this is uncomfortable and this is not consistent with what happened the last time. And so I need to figure this out. But nonetheless, if you've ever vomited once in your life, pregnant, not pregnant, man or female, vomiting is not exactly the greatest feeling. And therefore, I said to my doctor to get me on some anti-nausea medication. I was taking it throughout the time until I think I kind of got the inclination that it was gonna not happen anymore, naturally speaking. So I took my anti-nausea medication just once in the morning. I didn't do 2 pills in the nighttime, once in the morning, once in the afternoon as need be. I just did it once in the morning and thought that was enough. Sometimes I would get this like bubbling feeling in my stomach and I would ride it out and it went away. So I don't know if it was just like pressure or bloating or whatever it was, but to me it felt like nausea. However, actual getting my things spit out, it only happened twice, and that, like I said, stopped midway through 2nd trimester. And ever since then I have stopped using the pills. So that's in terms of my nausea. I haven't had anything else. The only other thing, which is pretty typical in a lot of pregnant women, although I didn't have this with my first pregnancy, is my inability to properly sleep. I actually got a pregnancy pillow and that has helped a lot with like posture of the belly and positioning of the belly so it's safe and whatnot. I actually just recently discovered that you can twist it and shape it into a donut, so you could actually put your belly inside the hole of the donut and then kind of at least alleviate some of the pressure from your back, face down, something that you can't do after I believe like 20 weeks, pregnant with twins or not. Yeah, that was nice. I actually did it for the first time today and it was wonderful to just rest face down for one. And the only other thing that I can think of is the fact that I'm constantly peeing. I don't know if it's because since I have 2 tenants in here, everything's just a lot more pressured, and so anytime I cough, I pee. This may be TMI, but us pregnant women, we can share this experience perhaps. And then if you are also pregnant for the first time, or if you have somebody in your family who is recently pregnant, you can warn them about this too. But yeah, every time I cough, a little bit of pee comes out. Don't even get me started with whenever I sneeze, because that's even more forced. So that's a constant battle, I suppose, and it'll hopefully go away when I give birth. But if not, we'll see how strong my pelvic muscles are and how much the bladder has been able to bounce back, I suppose. clothes from that experience. But besides that, I did not experience this with my first child, but with this pregnancy throughout a while, I've had to endure a lot of pelvic soreness. I guess it's because there's a lot more weight on the pelvis, gravity wise and stuff like that, with 2 tenants, and so it's been really uncomfortable, like whether I'm sitting or standing or whatever it is that I'm doing, even if I'm lying down, although it's more alleviated when I am lying down. Nonetheless though, the pain of the pelvis, like it's constantly sore, and not like painful as in like it's irritated, like if it was inflamed or something. It's not sharp, it's just literally as if I was sore from the gym and I happened to work my pelvic muscle. It's kind of like that, which I guess you're kind of always working your pelvic muscles, because if you're carrying that much weight around you, I suppose somehow they're being worked out that way. But that's what I've experienced, and hopefully it goes away, and hopefully there's no damage to like internal organs and stuff like that, and the pelvic floor. That way I'm able to kind of go about my life. Since we're on the pelvic soreness topic, I did want to mention that, as you guys can imagine, as I've said, I have the 2 inside, right? I've experienced quite the view of me looking extra big in comparison to my first pregnancy. With my first pregnancy, I started actually showing to be a pregnant belly, not just like a fat person, because I've always been overweight, but to look pregnant. With my first child, I literally started showing a pregnant belly when I was about 8 months. To be honest, closer to like 8.5. But I'm currently at 26 weeks, so that's roughly 6.5-ish months if you want to go by like each month is 4 weeks, even though months technically don't have only 4 weeks, except for February, they have more. But if you want to be that specific about science and stuff like that, I'd rather just say weeks. I'm currently 26 weeks and I'm looking huge. Like I'm obviously pregnant, you know what I mean? Something that I was able to hide very well with my first pregnancy. And with that, as you guys can imagine, clothes and stuff like that don't fit as well as they used to. Some sweaters, as baggy as they were on me before, they're just like leaving like a little gap on the bottom of my belly. And I'm just like, this is so funny, because I don't want to buy maternity clothes because it's only gonna last for like literally the next 2 months, and then that's it. And then I'm gonna have to either donate them or sell them or rehome them or something. But I'm just like, gotta deal with it. So anyways, I've resolved that issue with buying like extra large clothes for like sleep and stuff, for like just lounging around the house. But when I go out of the house, that's when I'm just like, ooh, I don't have a crop top with something that's not a crop top. But anyways, that's that. And as you guys can probably imagine, I have a big pregnancy waddle. It's funny because I've never wanted to have a pregnancy waddle. I feel like it's not like a sign of weakness or anything, but it's just so funny how I never endured that in my first pregnancy. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm good, I'm strong, I don't have to, you know, like waddle or whatever, because I can accommodate my body to the pregnancy. But with these ones, I guess because there's just like a lot more room, plus my pelvic floor is like hurting and stuff like that, I definitely have to waddle to kind of like accommodate some aches and pains. But I do try to do my stretches every day. I try to walk every single day, so at least my body continues to get some type of movement and alleviation of some sort. And obviously exercise helps with just controlling your weight and how much you gain. Speaking of that, I guess I didn't share this with my first video of this pregnancy this time around. I weighed myself this morning and I was 225. When I first found out that I was pregnant, I believe I was like 212 or 214. So with that, throughout the time, I've, I guess, gained about 10 to 12 pounds, which is okay. With my first OB, with my first pregnancy, she had said that as long as I'm not exceeding too much my weight gain, she thought that it was even normal for me to stay pretty okay or even lose weight, because since I've always been overweight, the majority of the weight would be supposed to be the growth of the baby. So I can only imagine it's the same thing with 2, so we'll see. But yeah, the waddle has me annoyed because I never wanted to waddle ever, because it's just like a fun little surprise for those who don't know that I'm pregnant. They wouldn't know until they see the waddle, but it is what it is. Definitely not a big deal. Hey everyone, this is actually Maria from the feature. I filmed the second trimester video for the first time a couple days ago, but I did forget to mention this one little thing. For the second trimester, I did forget to mention another symptom or condition or whatever that I've been going through. I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but ever since, and again, I'm filming this almost at the end of March, I've been sick, congested. Right after the holidays, I got sick. Not sick like crazy sick, but I've been congested, I've been nasally, I've been just not myself, I suppose. And who gets sick for like 2 months straight with an actual diagnosis? I guess just me. But a friend of mine who does know that I'm pregnant, she was mentioning how it might just be the fact that I've been, just my defenses are a little bit lower and therefore I'm getting sick. And the fact that there's 2 of them, perhaps that's the indicative portion as to why I did get sick in the first place and for this long. I kid you guys not, I've been literally nasally congested, coughing with phlegm and everything, but clear phlegm. So it's not like I have an infection or anything, but I've been doing all those things since mid-January. So right as the year started, that's how it's been for me ever since, and it's still happening. It's really frustrating because I'm very nasally and stuff, even sleeping is quite a challenge. I never typically snore, and my husband tells me all the time, plus I wake myself up with my snoring, that I'm snoring a lot more. He sometimes doesn't get proper sleep because it's just that's so loud, and I just can't wait for that to be over. I don't know if it'll go away by 3rd trimester. I don't know if it'll go away when whatever decides to flush itself out of the system. I've heard that prenatal massages and chiropractor work sometimes do end up flushing out the toxins, so perhaps I'll be able to get better by that. I did start seeing a prenatal massage therapist, but they also do have a chiropractor on site. I haven't seen that doctor yet, but I'm excited to hopefully start doing that. So that's one thing. And I did forget to mention, I did do this with my previous pregnancy videos, but I did forget to mention what I've started to feel and stuff like that for the kids in the belly. Not much going on, just besides I can't sleep, like I did mention in this video, but also lots of kicks. As you guys can probably imagine, because there's 2 of them, it's quite not as often as I would think, because it's double than just one baby in the utero, but it's not as much as I would have anticipated. So anyways, that's that. And also, they're really only coming from one side, so I don't know if whenever I do feel the kicks, like, I don't know if by this part of the video I have revealed what gender they are, but I don't know if the babies are like, one is punching one way and then the other one is kicking the other way, and so that's why, but like they're like flipped, so like they're opposite orientation of each other, so I don't know if that's why I'm feeling them all on one side. Not sure, girl, but that's all I've been really feeling. Nothing in particular, like I said, no more morning sickness or anything, so who knows. Yeah, as of right now, baby A is the one that's closer to the cervix and baby B is the one that's closer to my stomach. And nonetheless, I know that they'll probably switch around and stuff like that, but it's just funny how all the kicks slash movement in general is coming from one side. So it must be like kicks from one and then like punches from the other, or like head bumps or whatever. But that's that I kind of forgot to say earlier. Hopefully I don't forget for the 3rd trimester video. So the next quick little topic that I have here is cravings and aversions. No aversions, nothing has yucked me or anything, so that's quick and easy to talk about. And then craving wise, I'm just feeling extra hungry, and as you guys can probably imagine, if I have 2 babies growing inside me, plus I have to maintain my own metabolic state and stuff like that, I am so hungry all the time, specifically with carbs. I remember in my first pregnancy, I think towards the 3rd trimester, I was craving a lot of meat, like you know, like those Brazilian steakhouses. That was that. And then I was also at some point craving carbs because closer to the end of my pregnancy the first time, it was closer to the summer, hot weather, lots of walking because my stepson was new to Canada, so I had to constantly walk him to school and pick him up and such. And so it was, I guess, a lot of energy needs for the body, and so that's that. But it's been extra exaggerated, I suppose, this time around, and so I'm craving a lot of like carbs and stuff. I remember for a week straight at some point I was like making pasta like every single day. I'm just boiling myself some pasta and stuff like that, not even for the whole family. I was just like wanting pasta constantly. So I don't think it was necessarily that craving. It was just like I had already eaten a sandwich that day, so I was getting like pasta, or I had already had potatoes that day, so I was getting myself some pasta. Plus it was multigrain and stuff like that, so I was trying to compensate somehow. This time around I'm just extra hungry. I'll literally have eaten like a big bowl of like stew, chunks of meat and like vegetables and like fiber stuff like potatoes and stuff like that, and nonetheless literally an hour later I'm starving. Not like, oh, I'm a little bit hungry, like I was starving. So I was just like, I mean, I guess if we have to feed for 3 hearts, it is what it is. But it was just so funny how like in comparison to last pregnancy, yeah, like this is very much a consumption train. And so it kind of worries me for my wallet, because I can only imagine when, if I'm this hungry now at 26 weeks, and I have been for the past couple of weeks, I can't imagine when I'm like closer to 30 weeks, 32 weeks, 36 weeks and stuff. And so we'll see. That's basically it for cravings and aversions. And now onto the what I think is going to be the longest topic, is some comments from my OBGYN, concerns here and there that I have based on what we have briefly spoken about in terms of my birth plan. Before we get into that, I hope that you guys are liking the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already and are looking forward to some more of these videos. I don't have a cool little gender reveal video, but I guess I'll insert it here, the gender reveal for you guys in this video. So as you guys know, I have stepson here at home, I have my husband, it's me, and then my daughter. And I'll be honest, if you guys are not aware of who I am at a personal level, I never thought that I would want girls so badly, but with my stepson being also like 10 years old, I feel like I get a lot of his energy and testosterone and stuff like that, plus my husband being a grown man as well. Some things irk me about boys now. So, preference wise, I would have wanted to find out that I was having 2 girls. And if you guys missed it on the last video, the type of twins that I'm having are identical, and so it was either gonna be the one or the other. It wasn't gonna be like 1 and 1. So I was really like, okay, well, if it was 1 and 1, whatever. But if I have to have one only, the both of them are gonna be either girls or the both of them are gonna be boys. Let it be the will of God, whatever he wants for me. But I prayed and prayed and prayed that it would be girls. So with that information, what I'm having is girls. So we are having 2 baby girls join the family June, July time. We'll see how that happens. I'll get into that in a second. I hope that you guys are excited for me. I'm excited to grow this matriarchy, and so we are going to be going from a family of 4 to a family of 6, and it's going to be super exciting. And I personally never had a sister. I don't know if I said that in my first video, so just to have a sister for my daughter I think would be special, because I never had that growing up, and so I know what it feels like that you can't talk about certain things with your brother because those are not like manly things, but also to like share clothes and share makeup and like gossip about boys or whatever it is. I'm looking forward to seeing that growth in them at some point, and especially because not only they have their older sister, which is my first daughter, but they have each other like the twins, and so I'm excited. Praise God for him listening to my prayers. If he had not answered them in the way that I wanted to, of course all glory be to God, because he knows why I would get boys if he needed to teach me something with boys and stuff. And so I'm super excited that I get to have my girls, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully as long as the babies come out healthy and are safe, are well, etc., and also as a surplus, of course, that I'm doing well after birth and everything, that's all that matters. But the fact that I got my wish, you know, I'm just forever thankful. And so with that, yeah, let's get on to the other thing, which was the OBGYN comments. So for you guys' information, I am having diamniotic twins. I think that's how you say it. The abbreviation for it in the common community is just monodi twins. So there are 3 types of twins, and I'm not gonna go into the details of all of those, but just briefly saying it, if you guys are curious, look it up yourselves. But there's mono twins, there's monodi twins, which is what I have, and then there's di twins. So it has to do with how many placentas there are and how many amniotic sacs there are in your uterus for the babies. I personally have monodi twins, which means that they share a placenta, but they are both in their own individual amniotic sacs. Think about it as in they have 2 rooms, but they have 1 doorway or 1 kitchen, I suppose, if you want to call it that, since the placenta does provide the nutrients. Oh, my subway's here. As I was saying, I have monodi twins, and so apparently according to my OB and from what I've briefly read online, and I'm part of a lot of Facebook mom groups now because this is the first time that I'm having twins, not the first time that I'm being pregnant. Twins are a whole different ball game, and so I joined a whole bunch of mom groups specifically about twins or like having them naturally. But anyways, according to my OB, he says that the particular twins that I'm having, they always come out at 36 to 37 weeks just for like comfort purposes and also perhaps what he's used to. So I want to do some more research, and I actually want to get the second opinion of multiple OBs because I want to know whether that's actual within the practice or that's just within his practice, that in his practice he's done a lot of manual deliveries, aka C-sections, at 36 weeks just for the comfort of the babies, for the comfort of the mom and the safety of the babies. Because the way that he described it to me, essentially with monodi twins, because they share a placenta, if the one twin, even if they're both face down, if the one twin, I push it out, you know, vaginally, but let's say that the placenta comes out with it, the tension of the umbilical cord or whatever other things may go wrong with the twin that stayed inside, they may be suffering from lack of nutrients and stuff because the placenta is already out. Plus, I'm guessing if the umbilical cord is so much longer because there's not another twin like invading the space and like filling it up, there could be more entanglements, I'm guessing so. So that's how I understood from what he was saying. Now, again, and this could be anecdotal data, a lot of the twin moms that I've spoken to with various Facebook groups that I joined, a lot of them are saying that their OB did not enforce the C-section aspect to it. They totally respected that if they wanted to do vaginally they could, but obviously at the end of the day it's whatever is safest for the mom and for the babies. And that's my perspective of it too. As long as my babies come out safe, if I have to do a C-section, so let it be. I just don't know why ever since I met my OB, which was probably around 20 weeks, why he's pushing for C-section without knowing how the babies will be, 1, oriented, 2, how their size will be, but 3, in terms of like their health and stuff, if everything looks good on their end, plus everything is good on my end, like if I can carry for longer because I'm not uncomfortable, why would I have to like mandatorily do a C-section? I understand that if something were to go wrong, then an emergency C-section would have to be done anyway, and those things are like a little bit more rushed and there's more risk associated with those instead of a planned C-section. But I just would love to do things naturally and push my babies out if possible. And a lot of Facebook mom groups are saying that their OB never enforced the idea of a C-section unless they wanted it and unless it was absolutely necessary. And actually a lot of moms who have reached out, they said that they had their spontaneous, you know, birth happen. Yes, some at 36 weeks, some at 37 weeks, but also some of them had them at 40 weeks, even had at 42 weeks. And I'm just like, okay, so it's definitely possible to have your monodi twins come out later than 36 weeks. So that's why it makes me think that this OB in particular just would prefer to have them delivered at 36 weeks. But if I have to be induced or put into a C-section, when again, feeling perfectly fine and the twins are fine, I don't know why we have to early evict the tenants, if you know what I mean. That's my only concern. Like I said, I would love to look into the second opinion of other OBs and midwives around the area, especially if I do deliver at the hospital that this OB already practices in. And by the way, this is not to say that that same OB is going to be the one present during my birth necessarily. My first birth, the OB that I was going to the entire pregnancy was not the one who ended up delivering me in the birthing room, and so it could change, of course, and I could get an OB who happens to believe in everything that I want and respects what I want and lets me push, you know what I mean? But just in case, especially because not every OB is trained in twins or multiples, I do want to do my research, do my little homework, and call OBs around the area in the same hospital, and also if we do happen to move in the area that I most likely will be delivering. And so I want to get different opinions, especially from female OBs, because they also have that female experience in the female anatomy, but also if they're moms as well, they kind of know both sides of the story. And so yeah, that's basically it that I had for you guys this time around. Thankfully that wasn't too long or anything, I don't think, but I guess we shall see once I edit this video. Let me know if you guys have any comments downstairs. I would love to hear your input. Again, not that I need the advice of pregnancy or birth upon watching this video, like upon you guys watching this video. This is a timeline that's way after me filming this, but if you guys have any comments, concerns, or anything that I can help on, to be honest, leave it downstairs in the comments. Other people I'm sure will be happy to help you as well if they have gone through it also. And if you guys are looking forward to more of these videos, I would be super happy to see you subscribe to the channel so you stay updated as to every single time that I upload a new video. Join the family, leave me comments, and if you've made it this far, of course, I think if I'm having girls, leave any type of pink emoji. I'd be so happy to, you know, see you guys, that you guys joined this far into the video and are listening to what I'm saying. Motherhood is definitely something precious. It's something difficult at the same time, but it's definitely a beautiful journey, and we just gotta keep each other optimistic with everything that might happen. I pray for you guys to have a safe pregnancy if you guys are currently pregnant or looking to get pregnant. Hopefully everything results in your favor, and hopefully everything goes well for you. And yeah, if you so desire a boy, I hope they get your boys. If you so desire a girl, I hope they get your girl. But just remember that it's always in the will of God that what we want is not necessarily what he wants or needs us to go through. And so just want to especially put that out there, because I personally got my wish taken care of, but had I been a boy mom moving forward, I definitely would be happy also, as long as everybody's safe. But yeah, with that, I'll leave you guys off with the rest of the day, which I'll leave right over here. I hope that this blesses your life in the way that God is trying to speak to you. May this touch you. May this harp a little string on your heart so you get closer to God and seek his guidance in any topic or adversion that you're going through. I hope that you stay well. I hope that you stay blessed. And until next time, guys, keep up the awesome, never change. And I'll see you guys next time. Dios me los bendiga a todos. Stay blessed. I hope that you guys are super happy for me. They got me a wish. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.